And I was just thinking, he's so small and cute. So I was just like, you know, big scary dragon for a name. I felt like that would be funny and cute.
Hi, so, I'm back at it again with another NijiEN Liver. We're slowly chugging through the 50 or so livers that we have. And this is just the second one. I've been watching a lot of Crisis recently, and I decided, well, when's a better time to draw our resident NijiEN tyrant? I kept seeing clips about Crowshi and his new dog Ryu, so I decided if Vanta named his doggo after a dragon, why not draw the dog in the position that he deserves, right, as a dragon's. So that's the inspiration for this drawing. And funnily enough, this is the first time I've ever drawn a dog, so I really hope the cuteness of Ryu came across in the drawing, because I'm absolutely not familiar with how Shiba Inus look and how to draw or render a dog. I'm also curious if people who watch time lapses prefer the time lapse just in front of music, or they actually appreciate there being talking, because me personally, when I watch time lapses, I'm like, what am I supposed to listen to, right? Because if I want to have a video in the background playing, I want something to listen to and not just boppy music. And if I'm watching like a YouTube video, that probably means I'm doing something on the side and then I want something in the background. But if it's in a time lapse, the entire point of the video is to look at the video, right? So I don't know, I like hearing voices in the back of my videos, but I don't know if that's a general consensus or I have just something wrong with my head. And adding on to that, I feel like that would require me to have like a higher level skill of yapping, which is a skill that many of the livers in NijiEN possess. But I don't know if my skill at yapping is quite developed, so I guess it's something I'll have to learn. But regardless, it's been 2 minutes now and we finally made it to the Lineart, which is my favorite step of the process. And let's just relish in this section before we have to move on to my least favorite step. I've always thought that the center swirl in Vanta's hair looks like a palm tree. Also, I wonder if you guys can notice that I got a new mic. The audio should be crispier and clearer, and I think anything's better than when I used to use my phone to record my voice and have a shitty pop filter in the form of a receipt that I just put in front of my mouth. One thing I do love about Vanta's model is that, I feel like his face is just in a natural 3 sort of expression when he's smiling, and I tried to make sure that his lips were 3 in this drawing as well. I wonder if it comes across? Honestly, this experience has opened me up to drawing more animals. I never drew any animals ever before this drawing. So if any of the other livers have pets, I need to know, because I don't know if there's a list that exists out there listing all the pets and what they vaguely look like, because that sounds fun actually. And I do have about 50 other livers to go. There's plenty of real estate to go around. Also, the thing about this brush that I use for the belt buckles and the collar over here is that I literally had to handcraft this brush by like importing a brush that I found on God knows where, because the thing about Paint Tool Sai is that as much as I love Paint Tool Sai and I swear by Paint Tool Sai, the fact is that importing brushes in Paint Tool Sai is such a pain. Like, you need to go into some program file somewhere on your computer and then download the file and move the file into the program folder, and then you need to customize the brush by yourself by making a new brush under the under the sidebar. There is like such a hassle. This is one of like many reasons that I sort of want to move over to other applications like Clip Studio, but the thing is, Clip Studio is a monthly subscription, and that would destroy my mentality every single time. Every single month I see a charge for this drawing program. I don't even draw every month, Like, sometimes it takes me a month to finish a sketch that I drew a long time ago. Like, frankly, I don't even know if I finished a full art piece once a month. So that would be the equivalent of me paying, the entire monthly fee for drawing one single finished piece per month. Which is quite ridiculous considering that I currently earn $0 a month. Anyway, while I've rambled on, we've somehow made it to the color, and in fact we finished the entire base color for the entirety of Vanta, which is shocking. At first I was mostly just eyeballing the colors from Vanta's reference sheet on Twitter, but then I realized that my tablet isn't actually properly color calibrated, so the saturation on my phone and the saturation on the tablet screen was very different, and every time I moved it to my main screen, I realized how inaccurate the color was, so I just decided to give up and just get the picture of Vanta's face in the corner over there so I could eyedrop it and then adjust it later. So yeah, here I'm just doing the basic shading for the face, basic shading for the hair. These are the only two things I know how to shade properly, so I jolly well do my very best at these two sections. And now we're at the most mystical part of Vanta's hair, which is this multicolored section that I think all fan artists of Vanta struggle over. Quite frankly, I don't really understand this section, so I just, followed the reference as best as I could and tried my best to make sense of what was going on here. And if you ask me why I'm doing any particular action that I'm doing here in terms of the shading, all I have to say is that I have no answer for you, because hell, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of swooshing it like hair-like motions until it looks like hair has been shaded. Approximately around here, I decided that my eyes were too tired from looking at the bright ass white background, and I should really have changed the background earlier. But yeah, the background changes here to a nicer, more soothing color. I reckon it's been about 3 hours or more into drawing at this point, so my eyes are getting a bit weak. And beyond that, truthfully, coloring is my least favorite part of drawing. I would do without coloring if it didn't make everything nice and shiny and recognizable, but it is what it is. Yeah, and here I'm just doing some final shading after, most of the focus shading has been done. And I generally do this by just marking out where I want to highlight by using a multiply layer to create just a darker layer over the entire set of hair that I want to color. And then I do this a couple of times with a few different variations, sort of to mark out the areas that should have more light. But honestly, I'm just talking out of my ass because there's no theory to this. I'm just doing this until it looks sufficiently complex. To me, this is just the most instinctual way to do this. Makes the most sense to me. Also, a common theme you might notice in the way that I color things is that I just randomly put a bunch of colors down based on vibes, and then I blend it out and then I re-add more colors. And there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to this. I just put whatever I want wherever I want until it looks okay. And yeah, it was kind of funny when I was looking for the clip to put at the start of this video that I realized that there is actually a clip of Vanta describing the color of Ryu, and I didn't watch it before I started drawing this. So I'll, do my research in the future if I ever have to draw any more Livers dogs or animals. But, so long it looks like a Shiba Inu in the end, I think the message has been carried across. I mean, if anyone has done any comprehensive research on all of the pets owned by the NijiEN Livers, that would be useful. Let me know where that is. Also, I'm a great big fan of this dragon hoodie that I've created for Ryu. This is a very traditional, like Japanese Chinese-esque dragon. I'm a great big fan of this sort of bluish green color. And since this is my first time ever coloring and rendering an animal, I decided to heavily abuse this fur tool that comes with my paint tool side. I really abused it a lot, and I think it turned out surprisingly well considering the fact that it's literally a scatter brush. You can't really see it because I used it at a really small size, but I think it did make the dog look a little bit fuzzier. But now looking back on this Shiba Inu, I realized I definitely need a lot more studies on animals and animal anatomy, because I sort of cartoonified this dog this time, but with some animals you can't really get away with that as much. But yeah, and we're just about done over here. We're just doing the final bits of shading, and that's about it. So now we're 2 down, a lot to go. Join me on my journey as I continue to draw these. I might still draw small bits of fan art, but I don't want to consider it done until I do a truly fully rendered piece for each person, because I think that's what they all deserve, right? I'm surprised I managed to yap for 10 whole minutes. This is the final product, and that's it. Bye!